Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wendy Brown, and I'm the Director of Product Management and Implementation here at Mastery Education, and I'm excited about talking to you today about Measuring Up Live 2.0 and how it will help prepare your students for the STAAR test. So, we're Mastery Education. You may know us as formerly as People's Education. We've had 25 years of experience in the business, and you're familiar with our Measuring Up Live 1.0 and our Measuring Up print resources. So we changed our name last year from People's to Mastery, and our focus is providing a program to help your students master the TEKS in an anxiety-free experience. So let's talk a little bit about Measuring Up Live. You're familiar with, I believe everyone that is on the call is familiar with our Measuring Up Live program and using our Measuring Up TEKS-based item bank to create and print assessments. So we've made changes to that, but we've also changed the whole program throughout. So I'm going to give you a whole view today of the entire program and all the changes to come. It's still an online dynamic assessment and instruction and practice program where you can build custom formative assessments or use our item bank, our STAAR-aligned item bank, to create your own assessments. So we have data-driven instructional support, and we also have prescribed personal adaptive practice. So I'm going to start with Measuring Up Insight. That's our standards-based assessment tool that you can create and print assessments from. You can also assign assessments to students online. Then we have My Quest, which is our standards-based practice program. Students can get online and practice. It's adaptive, personalized, and you can prescribe practice based on insight results. It allows you to monitor progress, and there's motivational support built in. So Measuring Up Live 2.0 is going to give you actionable data to drive instruction, and it's going to meet the needs of all your students and provide opportunities to motivate, engage, and extend learning. So first, we're going to talk about the data that will be available in Measuring Up Live 2.0. We've really taken feedback from all of our customers to reconstruct Measuring Up Live, and we really wanted to focus on bringing better data in a more streamlined form. And as you can see, when we log in here on the home page, you have an immediate dashboard that shows you your recent activities, professional learning opportunities, and your Insight and My Quest data all on one screen, the home page. You'll have data at a glance, and you can also have class notifications. You can drill into each single class to see notifications. So you'll have that all on your dashboard when you log in. No more will you have to click back and forth between Insight and My Quest. If you use both, you have that in one simple dashboard. We've also taken a lot of our reports and consolidated. We've gotten rid of redundant reports. So you can see here we're showing our TEKS proficiency report. You can see that you can, you'll see student data per each TEKS, and you can drill in and see overall by clicking on a graph icon, or you can click on the little book icon to see the prescribed instruction out of the Measuring Up print resources, such as the Measuring Up Express books or the Measuring Up to the STAAR If you click on one of those little graph icons in that report, you'll see um, a breakdown overall, a nice little graph that represents where each of your students are. And you can see this information broken down then by student. This will help you in your planning for instruction in your classroom. Now, another report that I want to talk about is the test item analysis. We've really revamped this report based on feedback of our customers. So you can see a performance breakdown per each test of how students did on overall. And then you can see the question distribution by either difficulty level or cognitive level, such as Bloom's taxonomy or Webb's depth of knowledge. You'll also be able to see by item how your students responded. So you can see who got the item correct, who didn't, and who didn't even attempt to answer it. You see that all broken down along with the difficulty and cognitive labels for each item. Then you can drill in even further to see per question analysis. You can see how students responded and the number of attempts they made before getting the question correct, if they did, before they moved on to the next question. Now this next report we're very excited about. It is our growth report, which is going to show student growth throughout the entire school year. You'll be able to see this. And you know, when you assign assessments in Insight and students take them, not every assessment is an apples to apples comparison. So what we wanted to do is create a report that you can drill into specific skills. So if you want to look at a specific, say TEKS, a financial literacy that you've tested on throughout the year, you can go in and just hone on the growth between assessment that that you included the financial literacy TEKS on. So you're going to be able to see all of that in one report. You can track this growth by skill. You can start at the district level. If you're a district administrator, you can drill into the school, to the class, and the student. Now, we have a lot of reports currently in Measuring Up Live. We have over 80 reports from district all the way down to student level reports in both Insight and MyQuest. We've really honed in and we've talked with educators. We've singled out the most important information, and we have identified these are the pieces of data and analytics that are most needed by our customers. So we've really trimmed down all of those reports, again, getting rid of the redundant reports and focused in to give you the information quicker and in a more streamlined form. So you can see all of the reports that we will be keeping. Now let's talk about building assessments in Measuring Up Insight. Now most of you today that are on the call, you use our Measuring Up Insight item bank to create and print assessments. So I want to talk to you about the changes that we've made to the assessment builder based on your feedback. And let me get to my next slide here. There we go. So in our Insight item bank, we still have thousands and thousands of items aligned to your TEKS and to the STAAR. You'll still have access to that item bank, and I will note that we are constantly adding items. We have an item writing team specific to our Texas bank, keeping that bank refreshed with new questions all of the time. We're also going to provide the primary and secondary standard alignments. And I know that that's important in the Texas market today to show those process standards and content standard alignments per each item. So we'll provide that as you're creating an assessment, and you will see that in the reports as well. We will have those questions that match the rigor of the STAAR, of course, and then the difficulty levels will be identified for all questions, including the cognitive labels. You'll be able to sort by those different things too. We'll have those reading passages that you'll be able to sort by, and we span through a large range of genres and text types. And then you'll have the ability to download and print those assessments. So let's move on and let me show you in 6 simple steps you can create an assessment in Insight. Today as you create an assessment, it's a little longer than that, but we've really taken the feedback from our Texas educators to simplify this process. So your first step will be the details. So you'll fill out your details for your assessment. You'll have your exclusions, which you always have, where you can exclude items from other assessments for this assessment that you're currently creating. You'll have your TEKS where you can select specific TEKS to choose item from. Then your questions, you'll be able to order those items and then review. So let's just walk through this. The first step being the details. You can fill out whether it's a public assessment or a private. Then administrators always have the option to protect questions. Then we have a quick test mode, and that's available in all of our subjects now. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Then here's where you select your TEKS, and you'll see here to the right of each of your TEKS that you select, you'll see 2 circles here in the questions column. You're going to see the number of questions that have this TEK as the primary alignment. That will be the left circle. Then you're going to see the number of items with this per this TEKS that have it as a secondary alignment. So once you select your standards or your TEKS, you will then come to the list of questions based on what you've selected. Now you can filter these by item type. So if you're a math teacher, you can filter out just by those gridded items. If you're creating a writing assessment, you want to focus in on just the constructed response items or the writing items, you can filter those out. You can filter then by passage. You can filter items by difficulty or cognitive label. Once you've selected your questions, you're on the next to the last step, and that's where you order your items. You can drag and drop items into place to order them. You can also determine points for each item. Now, if you're giving this assessment online, you won't have to reorder the items here. When you assign the assessment, you have the opportunity to randomize the order per each student. Now, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, we are going to have the quick test option for all subjects now. Currently in 1.0, you only have a quick test for math and for science. And that just what quick test is, it allows you to identify what TEKS you want on the assessment, and then the system will automatically pull items for you randomly based on the TEKS that you select. Now, with reading, we're adding quick test mode where you not only determine which TEKS you want, but you can determine the number of questions you want on the assessment and the number of passages. So if you just want 20 questions and 2 passages, you can plug that in, and then the system will automatically create the test for you. Once the test is created, you can assign it or print it out. If you assign it to students online, you can assign it to the entire class, to individual students, or a new feature in Measuring Up Live 2.0 gives you the opportunity to assign it to groups. You can create groupings of students and then customize assessments and assignments just for those specific groups. When you assign the assessment, you can select parameters such as the time frame, if it's going to be available to students 24/7 during the testing window, or maybe you want to limit that just to school hours. You can also choose to randomize the question order per each student, so no student is going through the assessment the same way. Then show feedback. If you want to provide instructional feedback, for students as they're taking the assessment. You can include to show feedback. You can also include whether you want the score to show to the student at the end, or do you want to show the answers to the student at the end. So you have all of this control here, as well as you can make tools available to your students as they're taking the test online. So if you want them to have an answer eliminator or a calculator, a protractor, or a ruler, you can select those tools and they can have access to them online. Now let's talk about our TEKS assessment library. What we've done to our library is we've made it filterable and it has a more streamlined layout. So if you come into your library, you select your grade and your subject, and then you see the drop downs here. You can sort tests by who it was created by or the assessment type. And then those assessments will show up. Whoops, I moved too quick. Those assessments will show up in the library all sorted and ready for you, and you'll have the different options. You can quickly download and print. You can assign the test, whatever you need to do. You'll notice there's a little block feature here. Administrators in Measuring Up Live 2.0 will be able to block assessments from showing to everyone. So you have that option as well. And that's going to be available not only on the assessments that you create as a district or a school administrator, but on the Mastery Education assessments that are available. Another new feature is you have the My Drafts. So if you start to create an assessment in Insight and you haven't finished it, you don't have to immediately publish it. You can put it in your drafts and come back to it later. You can have multiple draft assessments open at one time, and then you also have the ability to archive assessments. Now let's talk about how Measuring Up Live 2.0 is going to meet the needs of all students. So let's start with Measuring Up Insight. Now when your students first log in, if they're taking these assessments online, they're going to see a dashboard. And I'm going to show you what that dashboard is in just a moment. But first I want to show you what they'll see if they click on their Insight assessments. And you can see here, no longer will students have to click back and forth between products. They'll have all products accessible, just like you do, under one login instead of going back and forth. So students can come right in, they can select all of their assessments that they have available, or they can focus in on one class. They can see what they have to do versus what they have completed. And you can see a sample of a question that your students would see if they take the assessment online. We have those STAAR item types that students may practice with, the constructed response that are available in the writing, of course the multiple choice that are available throughout all subjects and grades, and then the gridded response item types. And here's a sample of one of our gridded item types that you'll have access to. And the student will be able to answer it online, and the system will automatically score it. Now, let's talk about MyQuest. MyQuest is the practice program, and in MyQuest today, in Measuring Up Live 1.0, there are only 2 ways to offer students practice in MyQuest. We're adding a new way. We're adding a teacher-assigned option. So teachers can go in and assign practice from one specific TEKS, or they can create a practice quest for students with multiple TEKS. Or we will still continue to have the Insight prescribed practice that if you assign an assessment to students and they take that assessment online in Insight, it will automatically create a prescription for practice in MyQuest. So if there are any TEKS that students struggle with, those will automatically be assigned for adaptive practice in MyQuest. And by the way, I'll just mention that you as the educator can choose the cutoff. So if you want your students to get an 80% on all of the insight TEKs that you're assessing. And if they don't meet that 80%, that's when those topics will be assigned to them in My Quest for Practice. Then, of course, we have the open questing, which you can go in and open up all topics for students without singling out any. And they can go in and practice at their own pace. Now, practice in My Quest is still personalized practice. It's adaptive, so as students are answering questions, if they're struggling, the system will automatically bump them down levels, or if they are doing well, it will bump them up. They'll have two modes for practice, a quiz mode, which just provides feedback but no gaming, and then they'll have a game mode where they'll answer so many questions correct in a row and be able to be rewarded with game time. And you'll have settings as the educator. You can choose how many questions they have to answer in the row before they get the game, and how many attempts that they have in order to get the item right, as well as you can choose how long they'll get the game. If you want them just to have a minute of a game or 2 minutes, you can control that. Now, as I mentioned, our My Quest practice is still adaptive. So you can see here, you'll see exactly where each of your students are at. So we really want to provide practice at their level. So if they're struggling, we want to bump them down. We don't want to keep throwing items at them at grade level. We need to bump them down to a lower skill and provide them practice there at their level, and then eventually they will move back up, and you'll be able to see that in the reports. Now, as I mentioned, we want to meet the needs of all of our students, and we want to provide you with the tools that you need. We have partnered with Text Help to do that, and we are providing a text-to-speech support in both Insight and My Quest. And then you'll also have a Spanish support, which I know that is very important for our Texas customers. If a student highlights something to be read aloud, they can choose to have it read aloud in Spanish. We also have the option for you to go in as the educator and select the different accessibility options. So if you have identified some students that have an IEP or maybe they have a 504 plan and you need to provide them with some additional options, you can go into their account under the management tool and edit their accessibility. You can make available a line reader tool, a magnifier, color contrast options, font size options, and of course the text-to-speech. You can really customize that based on each single student. Now let's talk about student ownership. We really wanted to focus in 2.0 on giving the student an ownership of their learning. So we feel that, that in 2.0, by giving them a dashboard where they can see all of their recent activities and achievements, their assignments, all on one screen right when they log in, we're really allowing them to do that. So I have here at a glance, you can see my achievements, so you can see where students can earn tokens, they can earn medals and certificates. They can also see their recent activities. Anything that they've mastered will come up. Then they'll see right on the home page their Insight assignments. So we wanted to display the most important, or the ones due the soonest, or any new assessments assigned. They'll have that right from the home page. They can go and view all of the assignments if they wish. They can also see their stats for their most recent assessment. Then we have My Quest. Students can earn badges for reaching different milestones in My Quest, so they're going to see each of their badges. They can see what quests have been assigned to them, and you can see whether by the icons here if it was an Insight prescribed quest or a teacher assigned quest. They can see then their time on task in My Quest for Practice. Now, we want students to really take ownership of their progress. So with Insight, they can see how they have been doing over the last set of assessments. And they can also see how they're doing per each TEKS and which medals they've earned when they've mastered the TEKS. They can also see this information in My Quest for their practice. They can see their mastery medals from the My Quest practice per each of the TEKS, as well as their total questions answered, their total time spent, then their total correct answers and average time per question. They can also extend their learning. If you see down below, there's a little lesson icon out to the right, or the right of each of the TEKS. The students can click and extend and get an additional lesson if maybe it's a TEKS that they're struggling with and they want to get additional help. They can see these printable resources. You'll have access to these same resources in your lesson library on the educator side as well, so you can print those out and customize however. Then we want to help students by motivating them. They're going to be able to see all of their achievements and where they need to go next, how much time how much that they have left to get to the next level in badges. Then we have our tokens and our medals. Now, with the tokens, only those are available in 1.0 to our MyQuest customers. We're extending those to our Insight customers as well. So you can reward students with tokens. They can also earn tokens as they are going through the year and as they're trying hard and reaching different milestones. So you can see that that's laid out here, and you can really use the tokens as a classroom management tool. Then the certificates, you can see that students can be rewarded with certificates. You can send students certificates through the program. We have customizable certificates. They are both subject specific and generic, and you'll have a full library of certificates that you can choose from. And there's just the pop out of each section. Now, another thing that we've added is our avatar builder. And today in 1.0, students can select little pictures to make as their avatar. And there's no customization other than the students just go into the little library of pictures and pick which picture. But in 2.0, we are letting students build their own avatars, so they can choose from different options here, from skin color to eyes to eyebrows, noses, mouths, whether to have glasses or not, hair, and clothing. Now they can customize their avatar, but another thing that they can do is they can earn tokens and cash them in to buy themes and accessories. We're going to have different themes, 3 different themes on launch. We'll have a ninja, a superhero, and an astronaut theme, along with accessories, and students can use their tokens that they earn to cash in for avatar themes and avatar bling. So you'll also have the option, or students will also have the option, to play games with their tokens if they have MyQuest. Now let's just do a quick recap of what's new with Measuring Up Live 2.0. So for the educator, we're going to have dashboards, streamlined data and reports, a new growth report, as well as a new family report. One single management system, so you're not clicking back and forth between Insight and MyQuest. Our items are going to have dual coding, so you'll be able to see on items the process standard as well as the content standard. You'll be able to assign multi-standard quests. You can offer teacher-assigned quests, and then visibility into the student motivational system. For students, students will have their own dashboard. just like you do as the educator, with data snapshots, visibility of progress, and their TEKS mastery, one single location to launch programs, and clear organization of assignments. There's also that student motivational system where they can create their own avatar and earn tokens as well as medals and badges. And we will have complete functionality on tablets, iPads, and Google Chromebooks. So now, let's talk about the implementation and training. Always with a new product, we want to offer training and support. So you can contact us and we can set up individual webinars for your schools for back to school to get all of your teachers trained on the new system. We will always provide ongoing training. You'll have the little professional development widget on your dashboard. You can sign up for webinars. As well as access white papers and best practices information for implementing Measuring Up Live. Then as 1.0 does today, connect with our print resources. Measuring Up Live 2.0 will connect you as well. So you'll see the Measuring Up lessons, all of our Measuring Up Deluxe, Express lessons, as well as our Measuring Up to the STAAR lessons will be available throughout the reports in Measuring Up Live, so you can really plan your instruction. We're offering a special for summer school right now. If you purchase our Measuring Up Express plus Insight and MyQuest for your summer school, you will have 2.5 months of Measuring Up Live 1.0, Insight, and MyQuest for summer, but you'll also receive an additional 10 months of Measuring Up Live 2.0, Insight, and MyQuest to use during next school year. This program, along with the books, is only $12.95 per student. And if you have any questions about that and would like to get additional information on that summer school offer, you can contact us, and I have our support email here available, and we'll get you that information. I want to open it up to questions now. If you have any questions, just raise your hand there on the chat and I will unmute you and you can ask any questions. If you don't have audio or the microphone to ask, you can type your questions in the chat. So are there any questions at this time? Well, if there aren't any questions, if you'll just see that our email address is here, support@masteryeducation.com. If you have any questions later, you can send them to that email address, or you can contact us at 800-853-2779, and we can answer any questions that you may have. There will also be a copy of this webinar available, a recording of this webinar that we can send you.
It looked like there was one question. Sabrina had raised her hand.
Okay.
Now Rebecca has her hand raised, so we have a couple questions.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Sabrina?
You answered it right as I was typing it. I was asking about being able to get a copy of it.
Ah, okay, yes, we will provide a copy of the webinar for you.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any? Yes.
Yes, this is Rebecca. I think I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Rebecca.
Okay, you said that you would do webinars in the fall for teachers. In Arlington, we purchased this product only to be used to create assessments, and so many of the features that you mentioned today will not be applicable to our teachers. Is it possible for you to customize a webinar where we're only talking about the changes in creating the assessments?
Absolutely. We can set that up for you, and I will pass the information on to Lauren Curry. She's your digital account manager, and she'll make sure that we get those webinars set up for your teachers just on creating assessments in Insight.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Well, thank you so much for your time today and letting me walk you through Measuring Up Live 2.0. Like I said, we're really excited, and we've really taken your feedback and customized the program based on your needs. So we're excited for you to dig in when it launches and get to using it and let us know how you feel about it. So thank you so much. Have a great day.